Yeah, I think we're okay going relentless here. I think we relentless twice.
Eat up, friend. Gaze upon me.
No, we putting in that work. So far, so good. Lulu putting in that work. I mean, she's not on board, but they have no defense against this. Like, they only have 2 mana open.
What's going on, guys? Mully here, and welcome to another Empires of the Ascended deck guide here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about another newly revamped version of a previous deck that I tested pretty extensively during the Monuments of Power meta, and has been performing well for me ever since the latest balance patch gave it a few buffs. Lulu Shen Support. I'll go over the deck's game plan, what some of the key cards are that make this deck function, and finally, a few tips for playing the deck. Then we'll have some gameplay afterwards. For a while now, Lulu decks have been considered a meme, but with the recent buff to Lulu and some key nerfs to all the tier 1 decks from the last patch, it seems like the deck is in a pretty good spot now. One more thing I want to mention is that the current list I've built is not fully optimized. I will be continuing to tweak this deck over time, so if you always want access to the latest deck list, there will be a link in the video description below that you can click on and you'll get access to not only this deck, but all my other decks on Mobalytics. As far as what this deck's game plan is, to make a long story short, this deck is the zoo deck for Legends of Runeterra, which is a little ironic given the theme behind Lulu and her followers. Just like the zoo decks from previous card games like Hearthstone and where the original concept came from, Magic the Gathering, we want to use our early game support unit package to get board control early, gain a lot of tempo, and use that early advantage to snowball into a win. We do this by using our support units and specific Demacia cards that either gain Challenger on their own or grant Challenger to our other units. This is backed up by a few counter spells to protect our units from removal or other effects. Relentless Pursuit for additional attacks through Rally, and Sharp Sight to buff our units even further for either additional defense or lethal damage if needed. The group of support units we've chosen are Lulu, Pix, Warchefs, Young Witch, and Shen. Each of these units have support effects that either make trades awkward for our opponents or just generally make our units difficult to block. Our challenger cards, Fleet Feather Tracker and the Grand Plaza, allow us to force our opponent to block units they don't want to, and this allows us to protect the rest of our units from damage and push additional damage to their nexus, which leads to gaining tempo, gaining an early board advantage, and never giving that lead back to our opponent until we win. As far as comparisons go, I'd say the one deck in the game right now that functions the closest to this one is Nightfall Aggro, since it has a somewhat similar game plan. So what makes this deck a contender for the ranked meta? Well, the deck has a few synergies going for it. Lulu and Pix work quite well together when attacking. You generally want to buff Pix with Lulu, making it a 4-4 or a 5-5, while Pix can buff another unit that you either want to try to protect or make more difficult to block, or both. This can be one of your elusive units, a unit that has Challenger, a Flower Child, or pretty much anything that's the most important unit at the time. The same goes for your other support units that give stat buffs like Warchefs. Shen and Young Witch in particular also work well with Lulu, protecting her from making an unfavorable trade in combat. By extension, Shen and Young Witch also work well with Fleet Feather Tracker and any unit that gain Challenger through the Grand Plaza, protecting them from the units they're dragging with Barrier and Quick Attack, which synergize extremely well with Challenger in general. A Brightsteel Protector also fills a similar role. Pix has overall been pretty decent. After the initial testing I've done with Lulu both in the past and recently, I thought that Pix was being underrated by other players, and I even considered it a core card because of the stat buffs Pix gains from Lulu and what Pix gives to other units, which I mentioned before. Pix is basically a 6-5 unit in that situation, or a 7-6 if Lulu is leveled up already. Unfortunately, while Pix has a really high ceiling, if you also have Lulu on the board to buff it, it also has a pretty bad floor when you don't have Lulu, even if you have other support units to buff its stats. Pix is similar to Shieldbearer and Hearthstone for those that played it in Hearthstone's early days. Once you give Pix power, it becomes better and can be very difficult to deal with if it's a big enough threat itself from Lulu. but it's not as powerful as Shield Bearer was in the classic Hearthstone days, since it forced your opponent to make trades they didn't want to. Pix doesn't do that, at least not without another unit. The Grand Plaza is interesting because it's the only card that represents a tempo loss in this deck, but the reason it's in here is that it gives every single unit you play Challenger, making everything both a threat and a board control tool simultaneously. That said, you need to be mindful of when to play this card to mitigate the tempo loss. In general, you want to play it during a round where your opponent has the attack token. The other nice thing about it is that because we play counterspells in our deck, we don't have to worry about open attacking as much as other aggressive decks. We can develop units on our attack turn, and as long as we hold up enough mana for a Notify or Deny, our board can stay relatively safe. The rest of the cards either help us to draw into more things as needed and are hard to block threats themselves in the case of Shadow Assassin, or help protect our board from removal via our counterspells Notify and Deny, or stat buffs via Sharp Sight. Relentless Pursuit in particular, however, has been absolutely amazing in this deck so far. The beauty of Relentless Pursuit is that if you play it during a turn where you've already attacked with your support units, because your units will keep those previous buffs until the end of the round, you actually will gain any buffs from support effects on your rally attack again. And of course, it can help you get lethal with your elusive units and anything else that your opponent can't block by doubling up on stat buffs on your attack turn, or surprising them on your defense round and getting support buffs out of nowhere. Other variants are using Golden Aegis, since it also helps to level Shen up in addition to giving you rally, and it is a change that I'll likely make. But the fact that Relentless Pursuit costs 1 less mana has mattered a lot more than you might think. I've had a few games where I was either able to double Relentless Pursuit to win with only 7 mana to work with, something that you need 8 mana to do with Golden Aegis, or I was able to fit in specific units in a round where my mana was pretty constrained, and Relentless Pursuit's 3 mana made all the difference where I wouldn't have been able to cast Golden Aegis at all. Golden Aegis is very likely still the better card to play, but I say all this because the gameplay that's coming up later in the video has me running Relentless Pursuit, so that's the main reason it's staying in the deck for now. You can run either one though. So a few gameplay tips. Positioning is extremely important in this deck. You will need to plan how you're going to position your units when attacking on the next round you have the attack token. You'll often need to do this during your opponent's attack turn. Take your time at the end of their attack round to think about where you're going to place each of your units in combat. Protecting and making your most important units difficult to block is the most important thing you need to be doing with this deck and is key to winning games. Outside of that, make sure to look for spots where you could have lethal damage with Relentless Pursuit, and start to save the proper amount of mana later in the game for Deny and Notify if you think your opponent has removal for Lulu, Shen, or any of your other important units. That's it for the guide portion of this video. We're going to jump into some gameplay. If you like what you're seeing so far, be sure to hit the like button just below the video so that way you can let others know in the Legends of Runeterra community here on YouTube about this guide. If you don't want to miss out on future guides, then consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you get notified when those videos come out. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this. Enjoy the gameplay, and I'll see you next time. And yet, like, this deck, I think it even happened last time where this deck just like draws spells. And it's like, I run less spells than Fiora Shen. Like, why is this happening? Going first. I guess we'll go with Lulu. I almost kept I almost kept Shadow Assassin over Lulu just because it had elusive.
Smell that? A fight's a-cooking.
They attack here, then they're repping Shapestone. We'll see. 3 health on Lulu's still kind of a problem.
This land is ours.
Yeah, it's still kind of an issue. We can do this though.
Hand to the face.
This helps Lulu possibly survive.
Eat up, friend. A fight.
So they have to at least spend something if they want to get rid of Lulu here. Okay. That still doesn't get rid of Lulu. But Lulu with picks is like pretty strong. Especially if you can get Shen down to bubble the Lulu.
Violence, chaos, and destruction.
Okay. If they're gonna have... If they have exhaust, we can't beat it. Like, Sharp Sight doesn't beat it, so we might as well just play Grand Plaza. And just try and take control of the board next turn. Okay. We can go... Flower Child, Brightsteel Protector, and then what's our play after that? Possibly Relentless Pursuit.
Don't think I won't unmake you because I will.
I think I'm bubbling Lulu here.
Seen tombs, towns, and everything in between. I've got your back.
Alright, so we want Lulu to the left of picks for sure. It's just a matter of, let's see. This becomes a 4-2 and then a 5-3. No, a 4-2 and then a 6-3, and then we can hook Ruin Runner with this thing. But where does War Chefs fit in all this?
Pigs! Go wake 'em up.
Probably like this.
Whoa, dizzy. You go, Pigs! You fly on, cute little smooth ball. Yeah, you did it! Oh, don't get too close.
It's 10 damage. We'll probably block in a way where yeah, that gets rid of that and that. So we get 4 damage in, they give up their entire board. We win, right? I believe we win the game. Because we have 8 here, and then as long as we put picks on the left, then we're good. Yeah, Relentless Pursuit's been insane.
They won't like this.
It's exactly 10 damage.
Let's go around again.
Nice.
Don't make me flamigify you.
Okay, listen. I took my turn. Alright, looks like Pirate Aggro. These are 100% a no. So I think we'll lead with Fleet Feather Tracker because it beats pretty much anything they could play here. Also, we have the Protector thing.
I have my orders.
Let's see if they play a 2-drop here. Yeah, we're in a good spot. I think we just don't play the support game for the first couple turns. We just try and control the board with challengers and then go into support if we can. Because, like,
This'll shake 'em. Behind ya.
okay.
defeated without me.
We can still, we can actually still kill this.
Ain't no sport in powder.
This pushes them off of MF though. That's kind of the problem. Like, they're probably just gonna wait for me to develop again. Unfortunately. Yep.
My shield is yours.
Feel the sizzle. Eat up, friend.
So MF should come down here.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good. Cover me, crack shot.
You got it, Captain.
Mm,
Whoa! Whoa! Gee.
For the Empire.
Demolitionist. I just don't think I want to play the other,
For the glory of Noxus.
I think I'm fine just passing, honestly.
Strike at their foundations.
Captain's orders. Bullet to the face.
It's like, do I block? Do I need to block? I could.
I'll stop you.
It's quite a bit of damage. I take 5 if I don't, so I'll just settle on taking 3. And they only have 1 mana. I don't think they have any plays. We're just gonna pass again. I think that's literally the best thing we can do.
Love ya. Duty, Empire.
That way, if they try and get cheeky and like throw a parlay down, we have a spell for it. That's pretty good. Shen would be nice, but I think we go wide and then use Shen later on.
I've got your back.
Like, no matter what, their misfortune's dying.
Past me.
Hurry, is that a familiar frog? Oh my gosh. Go on, Rib.
You told me to say hello. Hello.
Nice. Got there. Pirate aggro down. I think it was better to go wide and then save Shen for a little bit later on. I didn't want to spend my entire turn just playing Shen. I still had the sharp sight just in case, but wow. I don't quite trust Lulu yet, but well, we'll see. We'll see. So far, so good. 5 games, we've only lost 1 so far, so Grand Plaza's a little rough here. In the sense that like I might, it's kind of one of those things where I probably have to keep it. Okay. This isn't bad.
Stop eating or no more Rockies. I bear a message from. Oh, hey, what's that?
Zoe Aurelion Sol, another deck that people were gonna predict would come back. Bruised by God leading the charge. Alright, I think we want War Chefs here into Lulu.
Leva,
Let's see what they grab here with this star chart. I think they're probably looking for Crescent Strike. That'd be my guess. Next best one is Equinox. I think they got neither because they're still trying to decide. We'll see. Maybe it took them that long to realize, hey, Crescent Strike's good here. Alright, yeah, Equinox. That's fine. We'll still make this useful. Alright, here we need to Grand Plaza. Like, our curve is kind of decided here. So, I'll play picks. Alright, there they,
Never again will we fall to dragon fire.
I've got your back.
well, we'll see. We can notify anything 3 or less. Okay, fine. You want to play those games? Fine, dude. What do we do here? That kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. If I want to challenge the 3-2 to prevent Lulu from dying, what would that mean? I could play Shadow Assassin, replace the Flower Child. I have a 2-1 flyer. And then we would probably buff picks with War Chefs and then buff the Shadow Assassin and then go from there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because I don't think we have lethal here. There's no way we do. So I think we're going Lulu, War Chefs, picks, flyer, this.
No one goes hungry.
So they would need to have Pale here, which they do. That's fine, at least we made them have it.
Press on.
They have no board to work with.
What's 1 part sandalwood and 1 part picks? Go picks!
Need another unit. And preferably one that flies, but we'll see.
Another day guarding the walls.
Vroom, vroom!
To arms!
Could Whimsy here. And then they would need what? Pale Cascade to actually kill Pix here. What's the alternative? Make Pix a 2-4. And then Pale Cascade doesn't do it anymore? No, yes it does. We can't beat Pale Cascade no matter what we do here. They've played 1. Oh, Whimsy. I think Whimsy's a little bit better here. Like, even if they have the Pale. Like, Sharp Sight wasn't going to beat it, but now we still have the Sharp Sight. That's the thing. Alright, we need a unit here. That'd be nice. Okay. That works.
Get him, Pix!
My shield is yours.
A dragon. Okay. So...
Skipping's faster.
Protect and strike.
Up we go!
Jeez, dude. Just eat it, dog. This is why I 100% have... I think Aphelios never needed to happen. Previous Aphelios. Targon did not need that powerful of a package. They're already good enough without it. Like, Pale Cascade and Hush are already so tilting. It's actually insane.
Vroom, vroom.
I'll Young Witch. Let's see if they have the single.
Someone's been practicing their Adorabus spells, just like you showed me, Lulu.
I think we're going.
Whoa, dizzy. Tremendo!
Let's see if you have another Hush, dude. Nope. Try again. Got him. Nice.
Okay, bye!
I love that line. Okay, bye. I think all her victory lines are really good. Actually, that's not even my favorite one. My favorite one is, aw, is it over? Oh well. Just like, I could just see Lulu just shrugging when she says that. Oh well. Hilarious.